Diabetes is one of our premier areas of research at the University of Maryland Medicine. And we have large numbers of individuals, including my own personal research, that is dedicated to some aspect of diabetes. As much as 3% of the children born in the United States each year may have some form of birth defect, from minor to major birth defects. If one contrasts that with the diabetic population, it could be as high as 10% of infants born to diabetic mothers could have sometimes fairly significant birth defects. So my interest over the years has been, why? Why does diabetes inflict or is associated, if you will, with this high rate of birth defects, and how it is occurring? And next, what we can do about changing that impact and that outcome.
The main focus of my research involves hypoglycemia or low blood glucose. Blood glucose is controlled within very narrow limits on a day-to-day basis, and the body and the brain have developed very sensitive apparatus to sense blood glucose. What we have determined, and others have as well, that there are many regions in the brain that can sense dropping blood glucose. And this then causes an integrated concerto of release of powerful anti-insulin hormones that work on the liver to release glucose. And our work has tried to identify the specific areas in the brain and the specific chemicals that cause this down-regulation of the ability to defend against a fall in glucose. We have found that whether you're a healthy individual or someone with type 1 diabetes or type 2 diabetes, if you have an episode of low blood glucose today, that reduces your ability to fight against a falling blood glucose tomorrow by as much as 50%. So we're particularly excited about this because we feel that if we can identify treatments that can help protect against hypoglycemia, it can have immediate importance and relevance for people with the disease.
At the University of Maryland, we're doing some very exciting work using the zebrafish model to study diabetes. One way that we're using this is to knock down specific genes in zebrafish, and then so that we can look and see how knocking down these genes affects the development of beta cells and diabetes risk. One of the things that's very important to those of us who are doing basic science and genomic science is that we'd like to be able to translate our findings into the clinic. And some of our studies have the potential for being able to do this. Some of our very first study was a study looking at the prevalence of diabetes in the Amish. And one of the exciting things that we found was that Amish have less diabetes than non-Amish. So this raised the very interesting question of why do Amish seem to get diabetes or convert to diabetes at a lower rate than non-Amish. And our hypothesis is that it may be related to their physically active lifestyle.
There are many possible reasons why the obesity epidemic and diabetes is increasing in the US and throughout the world. Things such as brown fat or the gut microbiome may play a large role in energy expenditure and obesity, and these are some of the hot areas of research that the University of Maryland finds itself at the forefront. So I feel the University of Maryland is one of the institutions that's at the forefront of treating diabetes and really taking this dynamic approach in terms of not just strong clinical care, but also clinical research and basic research into understanding how does diabetes affect different people, how do we best address those needs that people have, how do we best address the issues or problems that arise from diabetes, and that way we can figure out the best treatment approach for each person as needed.
The really unique and innovative things about the work that we're doing on diabetes at the University of Maryland is that we truly are going from the bench to bedside. so we have a long history here of working to try to understand the genetic causes of diabetes. But actually, many of the genetic causes of diabetes have actually been known about for a long time. And there are actually opportunities to apply them that are really underutilized. And so one of the most exciting things we're doing right now is we're going to people who are being seen for diabetes care in the genetics clinic and seen as having a kind of a run-of-the-mill form of diabetes, type 2 diabetes or type 1. And we're asking a few simple questions using a questionnaire to see if maybe they have some unique characteristics, maybe based on their age of onset or what medication works for them. We're trying to find if they may actually have a form of diabetes where if we could actually find the specific genetic cause of their diabetes, that could have a huge impact on their lives.